Recording in progress.
Recording in progress.
I felt the need to sing that because for those of you who have watched all previous 15 episodes of this show,
No one.
and I know most
Not
of you
even
have,
you. Not
I
even
see
you.
the numbers. I see the numbers, and some of the biggest, the huge numbers, some of the
Huge
biggest,
numbers.
greatest
Yeah,
numbers in the history of
it's
numbers. I've
Kermit.
seen the numbers
I was
myself.
trying
They're
to- I was
beautiful.
trying to-
They're glorious numbers. They're
My brother does a really good Trump impression.
I can't. Anyway,
It's really good.
those of you who just listened for the first time, that's the first time we've ever had intro music.
Mhm.
And I
It
was
was
kind of
special.
stumbling around trying to, first off, it's a whole thing to navigate. Like, how do I do it? And how is it not copyright? Thank you, YouTube, for having a whole category of non-copyrighted
Royalty free, it's called.
royalty free. Yes. So that little ska ditty, which I hope will last forever, is a way of saying this is episode 16 of the Fran
16.
and
Quintessera.
Yeah. What?
The Quintesseras? Is that not what, like,
Quinceañera?
Mexican-
Isn't that that's
the
the celebration you have when
of
you
the
turn 16?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. That's
So
cool.
this week we're in Mexico.
Oh, wait, I don't want to make it
I don't know
weirder.
either, and then I was like, I don't want to be rude.
Not only is this episode 16, but this is day 20 of the OCR Reports 30 podcasts half September.
It is. We're still going with that. Can anyone believe us? Do you know who nearly ruined it for us?
I do. In fact, I do, and I think I'm wearing their shirt as we speak.
Yeah, those
Our
guys.
friends Mike and Caitlin at Obstacle Running Adventures. The important thing is they didn't ruin it for us.
I know, but it would have been funny if they did.
It would have been funny. I thought for sure it would have been Jack.
Jack ruins everything. And guess who's coming up tomorrow on day 21 of 30 podcasts? Has September.
I actually know this, but I'll let you take it. Go ahead.
Well, good, because I just checked on my phone. It is Nitty Gritty Training.
That's right. The Nitty Gritty Training Podcast will be day 21 of the 30
Progress.
podcasts.
Progress?
Progress. And since we are now available on all streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts, which, by the way, what a bonus getting on Apple. Turns out a lot of people listen to Apple Podcasts.
Really? Has that improved our numbers somewhat?
Oh my gosh, it improved our numbers dramatically.
So it's less about the silly graphics, more about our faces not at all.
Yeah, I'm not doing any more graphics.
To be fair, if you look at it this week, this is
okay.
not a face you want to look at.
But that's a reminder, because it's Apple Podcasts, as Will Hicks would say, please
leave a review.
Leave a review and
5 stars.
5 stars. Yeah. Actually, his little soundbite of Rhea Coble saying 5 stars is quite possibly the cutest thing in the history of podcasting.
Is it?
So hopefully, well, anyway. So yes,
I love how you say
follow,
that despite the
leave
fact
a
you
comment
podcasted me for 16 weeks, but okay.
Leave a comment, preferably a nice comment, so Fran will read it.
I'll cry.
You can read a review. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We have no reviews so far. I think we have one, but it's Will Hicks.
I'll tell you what you can say. You can say Fran and Carlo are totally pointless. However, they bring some joy to my life, yet they're also slightly annoying, but this doesn't make them bad people. That is the extent of criticism I will accept. If it's worse than that, I'm not interested.
That's fine. In fact, I looked a little bit at the data. So not only do we have listeners in the US and Canada, we've had people listening in India, the Russian Federation, yeah, Mexico, the Czech Republic, and Belgium.
Oh, what about the UK? And none of my friends listening.
You know what's weird? There didn't say anything about the UK. And I went and got someone from across the pond for the show, and she's bringing nothing.
Nothing. I bring nothing to the table.
Nothing. She just sits in her basement and talks to me for 45 minutes a week or so.
I love it.
I do too. Quick, the only thing of community news I have that's not self-serving is I honestly think the only person who's listened to every episode we have, except myself,
I know,
is Melissa Linden.
Yep.
And she answered our question from last week, which was which actors or actresses would play us in movies.
Mm-hmm.
For you, she says, Emily Blunt.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Me too. And for me, she says, Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez. I don't know who
Mario
he is.
Lopez. Do you know who that is?
No.
Did you ever see Saved by the Bell? The old like teenage TV show Saved by the Bell. He played AC Slater.
Okay. Oh,
I think he hosts like Dancing with the Stars or something.
okay.
He was notorious for
He's
like.
got a little he's got a little the little dimples that you've got going
Does he have
on.
Oh, look at those.
I-
Does he have dimples?
Yeah, and little black hair and like
He
brown
actually
finish.
There used to be an awesome show on MTV. Do you know who the Jabberwockies are? The dance crew,
I
the
know what the
Jabberwockies.
Jabberwocky is.
They got a Jabberwockies have. Oh, that's an old. I first heard that word because it was a British comedy troupe, really
Poem?
famous.
Poem?
No, no, the Holy Grail, Monty Python.
Oh,
They had
right,
they had a
this is-
movie called Jabberwocky.
Hey,
Anyway, now we're way off topic already.
even I find us annoying.
So the Jabberwockies, the dance crew, got their start on a MTV show called America's Best Dance Crew.
Hey, do you know where the Muppets got their start?
Saturday Night Live.
I know we've had this conversation.
It's like the third episode in a row we've said that. By the way, Fran and I'm gonna tease something. Fran and I are working on something potentially really funny for our section of the broadcast at World's Toughest Mudder. And if we can pull it off, y'all are gonna have a good time in the middle of the night with us after midnight in the United States on the East Coast.
And just during the day in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, I
And
hope we can make that work.
The fact that you led into that bit of intel straight after talking about the Muppets does not give any information on
Oh,
them
absolutely
at all.
not. Those two things are possibly
Totally.
not related at all.
Totally not
knew?
related.
Hey, I've also learned how to. Sometimes when I listen to the show, your
Mhm.
voice seems a little low, and I have learned how to make turn up the volume on your audio track. Do you have any community news, Fran? Before we slide into race results.
So I had a very fun weekend. I attended my first DECA event.
Oh, DECA UK. No,
DECA UK. So DECA Europe hosted their first DECA Europe hosted.
yeah, that was
DECA
smooth. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. DECA
they call it
Fit
something
event
better
in
than
the UK. So last year there was a DECA Fit event in the UK, but it wasn't hosted by DECA Europe. This isn't making any
Oh,
sense.
okay, gotcha.
So they hosted the first DECA Fit event at a gym called Forders in Birmingham, and it was just really good fun. It was the sun was shining. There were some fantastic athletes there. I mean, the team event, those boys were zoomy. Like they were so zoomy. So like I'm not much of an athlete, but what I can do is run very fast for about 15 seconds
Had a girl.
at a girl. So when it comes to like the last bit of OCR or I'm at a race or something like DECA, I can run after athletes for a short period, get them on camera for a very short period.
Got it.
Is it pathetic that my zoominess is somebody at the end of their race? Absolutely. Have I ever claimed to be anything other than pathetic? No, really, really haven't. What you see is what you get. I'm wearing a fleece, you know? Anyway, so I was chasing some athletes. It's all good. My legs are pretty tired the next day, but there were two athletes that I could not chase down for love nor money. I mean, these guys were Zoomingtons. I will send you a video, which you will put in here. They went past me so fast. Well, you'll hear the evil laugh. They just went past and I was like, there was no point. There was a team event. I mean, they were redonk. They were
Did you call
so
them
fast.
Zoomingtons?
Zoomingtons, yes.
Zoomington. That's good. Okay.
So that was crazy. It was really, really impressive, and it was a really, really fun event. So, you know, hopefully there'll be more of those happening. That was the
Yeah.
last World Championship qualifier for DECA, which the DECA World Champs, which is happening in Florida this December. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Could I do one? No, probably not. Not without embarrassing myself anyway.
You
It
could
was
probably
fun.
do the DECA sprint,
Strong.
maybe. Strong.
Strong
Oh, the
is
strong is the one
hard.
with no running, right? Oh, sometimes that sounds like a good one.
Ugh.
I feel like I'd sign up for like the DECA sprint and I'd start and right
There's
after
no
the
DECA
run, I'd be
sprint.
like, I should have done the strong.
There's DECA
I should.
strong,
I don't care.
mile,
I
and
don't care if
fit.
it heavy, if it weighs more. I should have done the strong because I don't want to run right now.
DECA strong, mile, and fit.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, good. I'm glad that you got to do that.
Yeah, so that was really fun. So I think that's my only community news.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then with that, we had two races that I'll be talking about in the US this past weekend. For results, we had the Spartan Pan Am Championships up in Seattle,
Very big.
which boy oh boy, did you see any of the photos from the athletes were posting afterwards? Evidently, there was a lot of blackberry bushes on the
Blackberry
course.
Gate.
There were some shredded
What a
legs
tasty snack.
of the dude. I picked over a pound of blackberries last Saturday from the blackberries near the golf course by my house.
What did you make with them?
I made myself eat blackberries as a snack for the
You
last few
should
nights
make
at
an
work.
apple and blackberry crumble.
I don't have any flour here or shower. I have a shower. I meant to say sugar.
You don't bake.
Anyway, no, Fran, I'm not gonna. It's too late. They're all gone. I ate them all.
We'll get some more, and I'll teach you how to bake a
It's
crumble.
over. The season, that was the last of the. It's September. You're not supposed to get blackberries in September. It's more of a June, July thing.
No, it's not.
It is here.
They're a fall thing. And then you cook them with apples, which are also a fall thing.
Okay. Well, anyway, that segue from shredded athlete's legs to blackberry cobbler.
Crumble. Cobbler is a very different pudding. I always thought
Did you
cobbler
say
and
very
crumble.
different pudding?
Yeah, I always thought
We are
cobbler
having
and
some
crumble.
geographical differences.
I always thought cobbler and crumble were pretty much the same thing, and they're absolutely not. Cobbler is like fruit topped with a sponge that's just all baked as one, similar to Eve's pudding. But crumble, you make like you. Never mind. Really good
Who
though.
is Eve? Oh my gosh. You say Eve's pudding, and we're talking about fruit. Do you know who Eve Plum is?
Is she an athlete from the weekend, and you're trying to bring it back to the
No,
subject?
Eve Plum played the middle Brady daughter on Brady Bunch.
Oh,
There was Jan, Cindy. Was it Cindy? There was three of them, right? There was
never seen
the
it.
oldest. Oh man, I ruined it. Okay, it doesn't matter. So let's talk about the Spartan Pan Am Championships. Let's talk about the women's podium. Now, I didn't get to see if their legs got all crushed, but first place for the women in the Spartan Pan Am Championship in Seattle, Washington was our friend Nicole Miracle.
Yeah, we love her very,
By
very
the way,
much.
second place was Lauren Weeks, and I know we like to talk about Melissa Linden and her like core strength, but I'm going to give a little bit of a upper nod to Lauren Weeks because I know she's had a bebe.
We didn't need to compare them.
We're not comparing. We're just saying that
The ability to
help me out here. Yes.
rebuild core after
Rescue the
baby
show. Rescue the show.
is so impressive. I have not managed it. Like if I do not have any core muscles whatsoever. Our back hurts when I bend over.
I hear that. So Nicole Miracle first, Lauren Weeks and her incredible core second, Cassandra Gill was in third.
Big fan of Cassandra Gill.
For the men, one of my favorite names in OCR, Balin Bean, which does kind of sound like, you know what? If I had like a hand puppet, I'd be like, this is my little friend, Balin Bean.
I'm Balin Bean.
Yes, that's the noise that we should make.
Oh
my God, I'm
actually doing the ventriloquism as well. Hey there.
Okay, okay. For
Okay.
those of you who can't see, Fran is not moving her mouth.
Not at all.
There
I'm
you
quite
go.
impressed with that, actually.
You're so good. That was
Thank
fantastic.
you.
So Balin Bean in first place for the men, Brendan Neely in second place, and Rylan Shadag in third place. By the way, if you ever want to see a poster for like it takes all types to compete in OCR, if I showed you the podium, or not the podium, if I showed you a picture of Balin, Brendan, and Rylan and took like the average Joe and said, which of this, who do you think won? Right? Because I don't know if you've seen Balin. He is a very tall, very skinny man.
So I was going to say, if you wanted to take a poster for all American names, that would be those three.
Balin, Brendan, and Rylan.
Mm-hmm.
All we need is like a Declan, and
a Declan and a
we've got
Tevin.
Tevin. Is that real? Okay. I mean, I'm sure it's real, but actually, Tevin Coleman. Anyway.
And I was also going to say, if you also want like a poster for all American sports, it is Mr. Shadag.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think if you looked at a picture and said, look at Rylan, look at Balin, who do you think won? Most people will be like, oh, Rylan, because he's like all brr, you know? He's just a massive, like, awesome looking athlete. Not that Balin isn't, but it's just completely different body type, you know?
Mm. Well,
You,
I'm not loving now going down this comparison of body paths with
I
it
know
today.
we
It makes
can,
me uncomfortable.
we'll
Um,
probably,
but what I will say is, and I think this is still really interesting and still a thing in OCR, is the variety of bodies that you see.
Mhm.
Me and Melissa.
That's
We
kind
should
of what
just
I'm
have our
trying to
own when
get
we.
to poorly. I'm not trying to be
I know.
comparative like in a negative sense.
I
I'm
know.
just saying like it's
What I'm
incredible that you've
saying is
got
there
these.
is, if you look at gymnasts, you know what gymnasts look like. If you look at pole vaulters, you know what pole vaulters look like. You know what each sport athletes look like, but we don't know
Correct.
what OCR athletes look like yet. And sometimes it is the most unassuming of athletes who actually perform incredibly well. I've seen, I'm not going to name many names, but like I've seen some and they don't look as powerful as you would expect them to look for
Right.
how powerful they are. And it's very interesting because how can you call it?
That's what I was trying to say, but did it in the worst possible way possible. So
Do you know what my
thank
favorite
you
thing
for
about Rylan Steg is?
no.
Well, apart from the fact he's a very, very, very nice man, is
He
he says
really is.
he's a very nice man. He says, yes, ma'am. If you
You
want to
like
get
that?
on, if you want to get on my good side, you say yes, ma'am.
Why are you telling me that 16 episodes in?
I have
It could have been
everybody knows that I love yes, ma'am. Did I tell you about like when we went to Savannah and we went line dancing into Savannah? I told you this.
I'm sorry, you went line dancing in the savannah?
No, not in the Savannah, in Savannah.
Oh, Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, Savannah,
That
Georgia.
makes so much more sense.
Yeah. Anyway, we went line dancing in Savannah and I was, all dressed up line dancing. I had like little shorts on and,
Boom,
and,
boom,
and
boom,
cowboy
boom,
boots.
boom,
And I
boom,
walked
boom, boom.
past like a little boy and just said, I like your boots, ma'am. And I was like,
You're like, you're the best.
thanks,
Put you in my
kiddo.
pocket. Take you home with me. Come along, little man. That's adorable.
Yeah.
So there was also a, a race at the world famous Killington Ski Resort in Vermont this weekend.
Mm.
We had a beast on Saturday. We had an ultra on Saturday. And we had a sprint on Sunday. Let me tell you how that went.
Please do.
In the competitive division for the men on Saturday at the Beast, we had Brent Trail, apt name, taking first place. Hugo Godoy, taking second, and Samuel Harris in third. Saturday for the women at the Beast. My new favorite social media follow, Miranda Kilpinski, and I'll tell you why. She clearly is a dog person. And she has a cat too, it appears. And that's, we all have our thing. But she posts a lot of dog content. And I'm like, who's posting this adorable dog? Oh, it's Miranda, my new favorite social media person. So thank you, Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda, for becoming Carlo's favorite.
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
Second place, a name we brought up last week, Imogen Cross.
Imogen.
A name that you say is quite common, and I don't think it's that common at all.
Imogen.
Oh, it's more common when I say it correctly. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean,
you say Imogen?
Imogen. It's not Imogen. It's not an emoji.
No, I'm used to. All right, fair. And Alyssa McLeod was in third place. Now, the Ultra was also Saturday. One of our favorite guys in this sport. Do you know who it is?
I love him so much.
Who is he? Tell me.
The mighty Josh Pure.
Josh Fjord took first place, followed by Merrick Simcoe in second and Adam Kolb in third. For the Ultra women on Saturday, also, we had Jen Groves in first place, Jillian Heller in second, and Amber Young in third place. And then some people came back on Sunday and were like, we're going to run the sprint. Brent Trail back on the podium. He took first place in the sprint. Kevin Sawyer, second place in the sprint. And Tyler Krashenski.
Yep.
Easy for me to say.
Seen that name a lot.
Place. What's that?
See that name.
Yeah. And then for the women, Imogen Cross, first place.
Imogen.
No, you don't do that to me. I was so excited. I'm like, go.
Do you know what we should
Adrian,
do one day? One day we should just have you and Caitlin Ritter reading out names. Like a
just so
spelling
no
bee of
one,
names.
just so everyone like stops listening to the show. Everyone gets mad. Welcome to the Everybody's Mad edition, episode 16.
I mean, you could start with just reading out the names of the OCR report people. Get those wrong.
Jason Dupree. I never get tired of saying Jason Dupree. Anyway, Imogen Cross, Adrian Doherty in second place, and Crystal Thibault in third place.
Well done.
That was the entire Spartan Killington weekend. That went way faster than I thought, even though I botched most of it.
You did. You really botched it, and I interrupted you.
And coming up this week, you have results?
No.
Excellent. Coming up this weekend, race 2 of 3 in the Savage Pro Points Series. The OCR report, I believe, will be doing coverage. And that race is in Georgia.
Georgia.
Where Savannah is. Not the Savannah, but
Just Georgia. Do you know what I love doing? I love doing a generic Southern accent. But
Go
then
ahead.
it just becomes a bit too Texas. It just becomes a bit too, what's the guy who's, the weird Southern guy? I'm not going to do it on here. It'll just
Matthew
be
McConaughey?
offensive. Yeah, it'll just be offensive. But I love a good Southern accent.
It's not offensive if it's accurate.
But it's not accurate. That's the thing.
Just do it and don't sound like, okay.
No.
Fair. So those are my race results and my upcoming events.
Oh, babe.
Yeah, right?
Well done.
Oh,
We're a bit quiet over here at the minute.
something we haven't done in a few weeks, and I'm going to bring it back right now because I was there the other day, is a sponsor we wish we had. Got to get the air horn in there. That's fantastic. The sponsor I wish we had, Fran. Hey, Fran, do you like mayonnaise?
Yes.
It's rhetorical. Don't actually ask.
Oh.
It's a setup. Hey, Fran, do you like mayonnaise? Do you like 7 quarts of mayonnaise? How about 30 pounds of mayonnaise? Then come on down to Costco Wholesale, where you can get anything you want in massive quantities. Would you like a kayak? Would you like a playhouse for your daughter? Would you like a skeleton from the waist up that's still somehow 8 feet tall and crawling out of the grass?
No, because that feels very wasteful.
It is made of plastic.
Very wasteful. I'm a little bit
Yeah.
against overconsumerism.
I totally understand.
Mhm.
Anyway, if you like any of those things, Costco Wholesale is your place.
I've seen they have really nice Columbia fleeces at Costco at the minute.
They do. I usually get my jeans there, like my
I've
work
never been.
jeans,
I've never
because they're
been.
like $25 for a pair of jeans and they'll last me
Such
forever.
a dad.
No, I don't wear them like they're for work. I work nights. Do you think I'm trying to impress people on night shift? Why does that make me a dad? Because I buy jeans at Costco.
I buy $20 jeans. They look the same as my blue jeans.
They're
my
Levi's. They're like 505s. What should I be wearing? What should I be wearing? What kind of jeans should I be wearing that aren't? I understand dad jeans. I wore them for a long time. I have
bought some
photos of
jeans.
me.
So my luggage on a trip got lost and I had to go and buy stuff and it was really, really hard. And I bought some jeans. I was like, I'm gonna buy some Levi's. And I thought, I'll stop being a millennial. I'll get some like mom jeans. They look so bad. They're so blue. They're so blue. And just like, ugh.
I mean, they're called blue jeans.
No, but they're, when they're brand new and they're just like the
Yes.
wrong length. They're not cool. There's nothing cool about them. There's very little
see.
cool about me. I am aware of that, but these are really not cool. Maybe you can wear them for work.
Yes. Are they $25? That's my max for
No,
work
they're
jeans.
really expensive. Levi's are really expensive in Europe. They're like €130.
For jeans?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Hey,
Hi, Pa.
do we have any? Did you call me Pa?
Yeah.
We're at the thoughts on things portion of the program.
We're not. We've actually skipped a really huge part of the show.
Oh, you know what? The reason we've skipped it is because as of this moment, I do not have content from that part of the show. But so if I'm able to get something from
If
this
not, let's just put
person.
his face on screen for 30 seconds.
Well, let's see if I get any content first.
Okay.
But if not, well, I don't want to do 30 seconds of dead air. The podcast people will be like, what's going on? They won't see the picture of Jack. But if he's around, this will be the part where we put in the Jack Goris 30-second worldwide weather update. Take it away, Jack.
I'm over here. It's 8 p.m. at night. Getting text messages of like, I need the weather. I want the weather. I want the weather, Jack. Like, I don't know the weather.
So that was either 30 seconds of Jack talking
Or nothing.
or
We just went straight back to us.
Yep, we went straight back to you and I. Either way, I don't know if it really changes the show that much.
Probably not.
No.
No.
No. So,
Thoughts on
do
things.
you have any thoughts on things?
So my thoughts on things have just started to become very, very silly questions, normally
love it.
about oneself.
Okay.
So my question for you this week.
Oh, sorry. I just realized I thought I had one. Oh, I do have one. Yeah. Yes.
If you were a fruit, vegetable, or legume, what would you be?
Ooh, it could be anything. A fruit,
A
a vegetable,
a legume?
or legume. I'd probably be a gourd. You know those kind like around well, in our case around Thanksgiving time, right? You get them and they're like ripe and they're kind of cool and they're kind of
Do you know what's really funny?
What?
I thought this kid's a zucchini.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and now you're like,
Here's the
I'm a
thing.
gourd.
What I'm going for with the gourd is the longevity. Cuz the gourds, you can get them in like say right now, you can get them around October cuz it's getting close to Halloween time, right?
Mm.
And then they kind of sit on your mantle or wherever you put them. And they're solid and they're firm. And then they don't really rot. They just kind of dry out. And then they kind of get this little shaky maraca feel to them. So they last like a really long time. And as someone who's getting up there in age, I like to think about the longevity of things. So I like to think that I'd be a gourd that gets to stick around
it's
for a
pretty
while.
It's pretty close to a zucchini. They're all squashes.
Yeah, see, there you go.
So there we go. We were right. I mean, I would say you're more of a zucchini, or as we would say, courgette.
That's exactly the word that I was going to use.
Courgette.
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 Unlike escalade.
Esquire.
Escalade. Oh, I messed it up. How about you? What kind of what's to answer the question you asked me?
I think it'd be a type of bean.
Like a
a
legume?
borlotti bean.
Not a lima bean though, right?
Not a lima bean. No, I'm gonna go with borlotti
Oh,
bean.
is
One
there a
of my favorite
worse?
of beans. Which ones
That's
are
the-
lima beans? They're
It's-
not lima
So you
beans. Are
probably
not.
call it something different. Lima beans are like,
Let's Google it because we don't eat.
oh,
like...
they're chalky. I used to. Now, see, I have a negative.
Butterbean.
Butterbean was a boxer who knocked out Johnny Knoxville in a store in
Oh, I
Japan.
love lima beans. So, yummy.
Is Butterbean okay? One of my favorite moments of the Jackass movies, by the way.
We there's a place near me where it's like just an outdoors place, and they have like outdoors pizza making and outdoors coffee, and they do film nights outdoors, and it's
Wait.
really fun. We're getting
In
there.
Manchester, where it rains all the time, there's an
Well,
outdoor
you just
place.
get used. You just get used to the rain. You just get used to the rain.
Okay, you're just sitting there getting wet.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't let it stop your life. It's just part of life. We are moist.
Okay. Fair.
And well fed and white. For the podcast people, that's because I am like a sheet of paper. Anyway, so talking about the southern accent, went to a kid's party there like a year or so ago, and they've got like somebody who dresses up in a big dinosaur costume. It's really cool, like he's big and you're like,
yeah.
But the guy who was leading the dinosaur was from the southern states, and the dinosaur was called Butterbean. And he'd be like, "Come on, Butterbean." So when I say butterbean, which is a lima bean, I actually really enjoy butter beans. And in fact, you can make a really yummy dip out of butter beans, like butter beans, garlic, rosemary, lemon juice.
My mom, we used to always get they get them frozen, and then my mom would boil them, and then and then just
Yeah,
put them on
old
your
people
plate.
food. Old people food where they just boil
And
the
we used to have
crap
to eat it,
out
and
of
they're
stuff.
chalky, and they're like, "Ugh," but I was
I'm
forced
gonna
to eat them too. I
listen,
was
when
like,
you
clean
come
your
to the
plate.
UK,
I was
I'm
had
gonna
one of
make
those
you
kind of
I'm gonna
moms that
make
was
you
like,
butter beans.
I don't know, if,
Yeah. But anyway, I would say I'm a bolati bean, probably.
a baladi bean.
A borlotti bean?
Oh,
You don't
okay.
got borlotti beans in the USA?
I don't know if we probably don't call it that.
Anyway, there we go.
Okay. Now, my
Cranberry
question for
beans. They're called cranberry beans.
that just made it seem we have
It's
cranberries.
It's the beans that you put in pasta fazool.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Now in that tasty. But wait, what did you call it?
Pasta
Paz-
fazool?
is that the same as pozole? Pozole?
I don't
Oh
know.
boy. Okay. Well,
Well,
people are
funnily enough,
hopefully
so
someone's
pasta
screaming
fazool
at
is
their
actually like the American Italian way of saying it, and I'm against the American Italian way of saying things like gabagool. But yeah, it's just because, the Dean Martin or whoever it was sang it pasta fazool, so now everyone calls it pasta fazool.
Dean Martin. That a boy.
Attaboy.
I know who he is. I know who he is.
I hope so.
So here's my question to you.
Mm.
What movie has the worst sequel?
Cars.
Yeah. What?
Cars.
You didn't like Cars 2?
No, it was terrible, but I loved Cars 3. Do you know what I would have liked to see
No.
from Cars? Cars, great film.
Yeah, really good film.
Cars, the prequel.
Okay.
Cars 2. Cars 3. Because
So you wanted
3 was
Cars
brilliant.
2?
Actually, no, I wanted Cars, Cars 3, Cars the prequel.
So like the Cars origin story. Like
Lightning
starting
McQueen's
at the,
origin
at the
story.
factory, like starting at the
No,
like
no,
on the
just
assembly
like
line.
like his rise through the ranks, his rise to fame, because we start Cars and Lightning
And he's the
McQueen is like
superstar.
already disillusioned. He's already like tipped the scales of being the
Oh.
greatest. Like, how did he get there? What happened? Why is he such a dick? Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to know, but they didn't do that. They just made this awful film about like being a spy. It had nothing to do. The best sequels, the very best sequels, are where they go, right, this is what happened in the first movie. We're just gonna do it all over again.
You mean like every Fast and Furious movie?
I mean, not seen them, but like Rocky and
Neither have I. But I know they ended up in space in the 10th one. I don't know how that happened because I haven't seen it yet, but I have that guy Dustin and I have a plan. But so I think, and this is universally known as one of the worst sequels of all time. I don't know if you've seen a little ditty called Jaws 3D, but it was bad. And it was back when they were trying to do the 3D movie thing. Like Friday the 13th had a 3D one, and Jaws 3D has quite possibly one of the worst scenes in the history of cinema, where this completely, totally, obviously fake shark is coming towards your screen. It's supposed to be in 3D.
is that like what's on in Back to the Future?
I don't know.
I'm just thinking of Back to the Future where they're actually they're in the future, and like, is that what inspired it? And it comes and
No, in fact, I wish I could find a way to show the footage because it's so bad. But anyway, yeah, Jaws 3D. So, and they made a Jaws 4 also, which I mean, sadly, was better than Jaws 3D. And the other one, honorable mention, and I had forgotten this movie even existed, Caddyshack 2.
oh, never saw Caddyshack. Was tempted because I liked Happy Gilmore so much.
It's an American classic.
Never seen
If
it.
you like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and all those
I
guys from
don't.
the early Saturday Night Live
I
days,
don't.
you don't like either one of them? You don't like Driving Miss Daisy? Oh, that wasn't. Oh, yeah, Dan Aykroyd was. Yeah, he was in that.
Not seen it.
Man,
What you'll learn about me, Carlo, is I've not seen most things, but the things I have seen, I've seen a lot, and I feel very, very strongly about them.
that's fair. It's okay. All right. So Cars 2.
Limited, but educated on those limits.
Understood.
Hmm.
I think that's a good set of sequels there that we hate.
Yeah.
Well done.
I
Good
think, I
segment.
think I'm more right, but yeah.
How can you be more right in something where we're talking about our opinion?
Have you met me?
So those are my thoughts on things, Fran.
Well, I love them. Those are my
Yeah.
thoughts on things.
Well, heck.
Beans
where the
and
episode ends?
gourds. Beans and
Gourds. Like, one thing I found about when you have fun, whimsical questions, apparently I don't do well with being put like on the spot, because I have this aversion to like looking like dumb or uneducated, and I get
Isn't
really,
that the whole point of what we're doing here?
yes, but I get really like, so when I get put on the spot like that, I go like, say something quick, but you're taking too long, don't look dumb, and I'm like, gourds. So, and that's how we ended up with gourds. Better than saying like leeks.
No, you're
Or,
not a leek. You're not a leek.
thank you, Brussels sprouts.
No, no, no. I'd say you're a squash of type.
I accept. Thank you. Banana squash. Do you guys have those? All right. But alas,
Sadly.
I hope you enjoyed. For those of you listening on Apple Podcasts, for those of you listening on Spotify, for those of you watching us on YouTube or other, turns out there's
Everywhere.
a bunch
I
of
hope
little podcasts.
everyone enjoyed it, regardless of their platform of choice. That's what's important.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
But mostly Apple Podcasts. Please leave a review.
It makes him happy.
Got a special place in our heart for the Apple Podcast people because the new iPhone's coming out
we wish
soon.
we had.
That's right. Yes, sponsorship wish we had. Listeners, that's the key sponsor. Drive those metrics. Hey, Fran.
No purpose. Hey, Carlo.
This was fun.
Let's do it again next week.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.